that's a future where you could have instantaneous cross-border payment from, call it US to Japan, for fractions of a penny. And that's not going to use a currency to do that, a government denominated currency. That's going to use a crypto asset, and XRP is really well suited for that.
Hey, what's up guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We're going to kick things off looking at a few price charts for a few altcoins that I'm looking at, and then we're going to dive into some news. Alright, so first up, we have the XRP Bitcoin price chart on the weekly side by side with the Cardano or ADA Bitcoin price chart. And after about 2 years in this bear market, which seems to be almost never ending, we're another day closer to a market retracement or the next bullish cycle. So I wanted to show a few interesting things. We know that Cardano was the top performer last cycle, doing over a 160x from its previous low to its all-time high around $3.10. Now typically, I like to compare a variety of altcoins versus the US dollar looking at their strength, but it's also very important to look at their strength and dominance versus the Bitcoin price chart. And now for ADA, we found our bottom with these 4 wicks during 2020. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a retracement, and then heading into the very end of 2020, right into 2021 before the big impulse we took off. And during this impulse, we can see ADA versus the Bitcoin price chart did well over a 10x return or 1100%. So Cardano did 1100% move, it did over a 100x versus its US dollar pair, and we can see that Cardano came up to retest previous highs during the 2018 highs, but then also up here towards the weekly candle bodies, taking out those levels as well. Whereas XRP has been the definition of flaccid. We can see we're consolidating here, and if we do get a move up in the future, even retesting those 2018 highs like ADA did, that's a 600% move or a 7x versus Bitcoin. And one thing I want to point out is for XRP using this high or the previous all-time high, and we're going to draw a swing low with the fib retracement, and we're not using that liquidity wick, we're just going to use that wick down there and just drag it all the way over. And if we take a look at what ADA did versus Bitcoin using the previous all-time high, dragging to these lows, those 4 wicks at the bottom, and just dragging it all the way over, we can see to perfection ADA versus Bitcoin hit the 702 retracement at the very least before another 80% crash. So from those levels, it did about 1100% move. Then we got that big 70 to 90% crash, approximately wick to wick 86%. So one thing I'm looking for in the future when XRP takes off is looking at this level. So I call this the golden pocket. By definition, the golden pocket is the 618 or the golden ratio between the 61 and 65%, which is called the golden pocket. But in crypto, I actually just call this the pocket I'm looking for, the 618 to the 786. It's a common level and it's make or break. It can be a common retracement level, rejection level, and if you break through that level, there's a high probability you can see a new all-time high price. So hypothetically, if XRP in the future even goes up to the 702, just like we saw ADA do, it's about a 1000% move or just over a 10x return. So it makes you wonder, when you're seeing these types of retracements and different fractals occur, is XRP drawing a similar consolidation pattern before breaking out and going up to higher retracements? Now something else I'd like to show you is we have the Casper Bitcoin price chart on the top and we have the Cardano Bitcoin price chart on the bottom. So we know Cardano, a top performer in the L1 space last cycle, doing over a 100x return. It reached $3.10 for its all-time high price with a $99 billion market cap. Solana reached a $75 billion market cap. What's interesting is ADA did this with a $32 billion circulating supply. Casper will not have that circulating supply for 13 years. And I just want to emphasize that if Casper reached the all-time high market cap that Cardano did in the past with a supply that is nearly 3 times larger, that would be over $8 per token for Casper. And I see a lot of comments on YouTube and Twitter. There's a lot of people that have not done the research, have not even looked at the tokenomics to understand it. If you have any questions regarding Casper, the inflation rate, the tokenomics, the actual utility of said token, please watch this video. I uploaded this 10 days ago titled Casper Utility Token Potential. I made this spreadsheet, so please check this out. It's well worth your time if you're interested in Casper. Explaining the tokenomics and the price potential at different market capitalizations, and then also explaining the inflation rate and the potential forecast of Casper. So we know ADA, even from these lows, took out some previous highs. This one is a 900%, up here is almost a 1500% move. So what's really interesting about the Casper Bitcoin price chart is you have clear distribution, but you don't have all the price history. There's a little bit more data over here. We have clear distribution, just like Cardano did after its multi-year bear market and then experiencing its bull run, just as Casper is yet to experience its first bull run. So just like ADA finally retraced an impulse up to previous highs on the weekly time frame. I can speculate, I can make my guesses on the 4-hour or the daily, but the weekly and monthly chart always tells a very clear story of price levels. In looking at these levels, we have yet to break out. We're sitting at a key support level right now, and we don't want to lose that level of support versus the Bitcoin pair. Very similar to Cardano finding its bottom right here versus the Bitcoin pair before the retracement. Now, we've shown open gaps for the Casper US dollar price chart in the past, but we have an open gap on the Casper Bitcoin price chart all the way up there. And from today's price, if we close that gap in the future, that is 574% away, or roughly a 6.7x return. If we applied a 6.7x return to Casper's price today, that is roughly 24 cents. And then even going to previous wicks and other swing highs like ADA actually took out, we can see right there, that's still a 320% return from today's price, or over a 4.2x. Very similar to if XRP does what Cardano did in the past, reaching a 702 Fibonacci retracement versus Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. You can see from today's price, that would be a 1000% move, or over a 10x return. And here's a quick example I want to share, and I hope you find this interesting. So we have Hedera versus the US dollar versus Injective versus the US dollar or Tether on the right, both on the weekly. Now, my personal opinion, and this is not financial advice, is I believe there are leaders and laggards in every single market, and I believe there's a high probability that Injective, Fetch, AGIX, a few others are leading Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin could lead a variety of other alts into a big retracement or a market pump. So we have Injective on the right. It's great tokenomics, it's super deflationary, and since its 2022 low, we can see it did about a 760% move, or over an 8.6x. Whereas HBAR is still below 5 cents, strong technology, but has not seen any significant price action compared to a variety of others. And I just want to emphasize that some of these alts, like Injective, they're not microcaps. They're in the top 50, the top 100. Some have seen a 3, a 5, or 10x from their last year's low. And nothing against Injective, it's done over an 8x from the low. It's been a top performer for a reason, but if we're looking at it creating a new all-time high price or coming up here, that's about a 200% move or a 3x. Does it go much higher? Does it go to a 4.236? Maybe. And personally, I'm more interested in alts or legitimate projects like HBAR that are building real solutions. I'm actually seeing the progress, which is great, and I'm a lot more confident in them getting a decent retracement up to these levels rather than something that already did an 8x return. Now, in saying that, Injective is super deflationary. Its market cap isn't huge, so it does have that potential, but from a charting perspective, although INJ looks stronger, I'm taking more of my chances in something that looks really boring. And just drawing a Fibonacci retracement from the weekly candle bodies as the swing high and the swing low for a variety of alts, we can see that Injective has reached the 382 Fibonacci retracement. And we can see Fetch AI or FET has wicked all the way up to the 618 Fibonacci retracement, or that golden pocket. And from its low of last year, we can see it did just over a 10x return. So I think we're going to find out this year if there are true leaders and laggards, and we're going to see if some of these alts could be leading for a variety of other assets, including Bitcoin. So per the weekly Fibonacci retracement using candle bodies, Injective and a few other alts have reached the 382, if not a tad higher. If Bitcoin really is following behind a few alts that may be leading, could we expect Bitcoin to come up to the 382 Fibonacci retracement around 35k, where there's also an open CME gap? Because there's a variety of alts that have already reached their R1, R2 just as Injective perfectly up there, whereas Bitcoin and a few others are well below their pivot or still well below these R levels. And once again, whether you believe in the Bitcoin halving narrative, whether you believe in cyclical analysis or anything in between, over the last 10 years and 3 times in a row, Bitcoin at the very least has reached this weekly R1, whether it's just a retracement before a crash, or we hit that level before reaching an all-time high price. Very similar to previous cycles where we got that retracement up to the R1 before a crash, and then other cycle examples of 2015 and even beforehand, eventually hitting that level right there, some consolidation before drawing some impulses towards an all-time high. And one last thing, we're going to finish up with this. So this is the HBAR US dollar price chart on the weekly time frame. What's weird about HBAR is we have open lower gaps, but we also have much higher open gaps. The highest open gap is at 43 cents. Kind of close to this weekly R3 level up here. Now we're going to show an example of any asset for that matter. We're just using HBAR for this example, and these are arbitrary numbers of an asset, say doing a 3 or 5x return, and then during the bear market witnessing another 70 to 90% crash and buying back, and talking about how you can improve your position in a perfect world. Because last bull run, even looking at the ADA price chart, when we did over a 160x, we were sitting over $3. I saw a lot of comments and questions talking about a bear market, saying, I don't think we're going to see another huge bear market, nothing like March 2020 ever again, because this time is different and we're seeing tons of adoption. And that was actually the cue that this time was no different, because after ADA did over a 160x up here, there were a lot of people saying we're never going to see another March 2020 or another bear market because we are just so euphoric. And I'm right there with you. I was very euphoric. But at the same time, after witnessing multiple cycles, I'm very open, and that's why I say anything is possible in crypto. Because after this huge return up here, when a lot of people didn't believe in another bear market or even be open to the potential, we saw another 90% crash. So when I'm looking at different alts like HBAR, yes, I believe that HBAR is a strong contender. I believe this will be one of the few projects that will still be standing in the next 5 years. I believe in massive price appreciation. But in saying that, when that time comes, when you see a 3, 5, or 10x from the recent cycle lows, it is very likely you're going to see a 50%, if not a 90% crash again in the crypto asset class, because this is one of the most volatile and most dangerous but most exciting asset classes in the world. So we're just going to show a quick example of, say, buying HBAR at a round even number like 5 cents, and let's just say it does a 5x return. So from 5 cents, it goes to 25 cents. You 5x your money, and in this example, we're going to sell our full position after a 5x return, sit in cash, and wait to buy back during that 70 to 90% crash. So for this example, let's say we have $1,000, and we're going to put it all into HBAR at 5 cents, right around there. So if you bought $1,000 worth of HBAR at 5 cents, you would get 20,000 tokens. Now let's say that HBAR from 5 cents does a 5x return or a 400% increase. 5 cents times 5 is 25 cents. So we have a limit sell here, and we're going to sell 100% of our 20,000 tokens that we bought at 5 cents for 25 cents. So now we sold here our initial 20,000 tokens for 5 times higher at 25 cents, and we yielded $5,000 total. Now for this example, let's say that HBAR witnesses another bear market and it does a 70 to 90% crash or an 80% crash. An 80% crash from 25 cents where we sold all the way down would actually take us back to 5 cents, our initial buy level. So now we took our $5,000 and we purchased all of our HBAR back at 5 cents even, and we got 100,000 tokens. Remember, we started with 20,000 tokens, so we improved our bag by 5 times. By simply buying $1,000 of HBAR at 5 cents, riding it up for a 5x return, selling it back into cash with $5,000. Then the bear market came in the future. We bought after an 80% crash at our initial buy level at 5 cents. And we improved our position from our initial 20,000 tokens to 100,000 tokens and 5x'd our bag. Now this is just an example to conceptualize this idea. Of course you can alter this. You could maybe sell half your bag and buy back, or double your position, or improve your position by 50% by just trading a smaller portion of your long-term holdings. But I just want to paint a picture of the importance of taking profit during the next bull run. And it's never easy taking profit, especially when you sell and you see the alt maybe go up 50% or go up another 2x. You have FOMO, you're tempted to buy back. But in my experience, by just simply waiting for the next bear market, there's no shortage of black swan events and liquidation events in the crypto asset class. And this is what I most look forward to in the crypto asset class, when we get price action and a variety of alts go in different orders. Some do a 3x before others, and there's a huge opportunity to rotate gains and compound returns. And maybe I'm biased because I've been buying HBAR since it first launched in 2019, but I do believe in this project massively. So in my mind, when I'm looking at the 4-hour price chart or even the daily on smaller time frames, it's okay if I'm wrong in the short term, because I believe I'll be right in the long term. So when I'm looking at the price chart, we're just kind of retesting previous levels of lows. Provided we hold these levels of support, I am buying. Because there's a variety of upper wicks that have yet to be tested again. There's wicks and weekly pivot levels, and there's open gaps above. And also guys, be sure to tune in to the next video. We're going to do a deep dive into a variety of news for a variety of alts, XRP, HBAR, Casper, etc. We have Ripple being mentioned in a Bank of America report. We have Hedera sharing Neuron, which is built on Hedera, and we've talked about them before, using drones and connecting the planet's entire bandwidth of Internet of Things resources built on Hedera. We have Casper staking APY, which auto compounds up to 11% because roughly 5% of the total stake bonded has actually been removed from circulation. So we're speculating, is this IPW? Is this a big institutional user ready to start some deployments on Casper's public chain? We have Algorand and Folks Finance launching XAlgo, the first cross-chain DeFi product between BNB Chain and Algorand. Also, one-click nodes are live, and if you guys have checked out the APR for Algo's liquid governance on Folks Finance, it is very high. And last but not least, a must-see clip shared by XRP Darren, a must-follow on Twitter and YouTube, and he had an amazing interview with Craig DeWitt. He used to work at Ripple. He's the founder of Real Super Mojo related to the XRP ledger. And a few years ago, Craig DeWitt was selected as the vice chair for the US Faster Payments Council for cross-border payments. And of course, massive industry players, including the company Ripple, are involved.
On a cross-border basis, you don't have a supranational bank. There's no bank of banks, right? Unless you're talking about Citigroup. And so getting rid of those correspondent banks and just connecting to hyper-efficient domestic systems, that's a future where you could have instantaneous cross-border payment from, call it US to Japan, for fractions of a penny. And you know, that's not going to use a currency to do that, a government denominated currency. that's going to use a crypto asset, and XRP is really well suited for that.
If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.